Hi, I'm here with Max, which is one of our super experts SEs at Glasswall, and we're going to talk about the CDR platform and how amazing it is and all the stuff that we see when we interact with customers and people to use. So maybe just a quick intro about you and your journey at Glasswall.
Yeah, thanks Dinis. So my name is Max Bussell. I've worked at Glasswall, I think this is my 8th year at the company now. I started as an analyst for our sales team. I very quickly joined our test team in a full-time role. I then graduated and became a developer for our core team, and then our enterprise platform team, which was sort of a foray into cloud-based products. And then I was identified as someone who was good at talking to clients. So I joined our sales engineering team about 5 years ago, and I've been doing it ever since. It's been a great job and a great journey.
Cool. So from your point of view, what is CDR?
CDR, so CDR, content disarm and reconstruction, is the capability to take a file, break it apart into its constituent components, and validate each of those components against the manufacturer's specification. And what you're doing while doing that is, anywhere that there's a deviation or a non-conformancy, you're fixing and repairing the file in real time, essentially removing any risk in the file structure. So any malware or ransomware that is hidden or obfuscated in that file structure, you're essentially disarming, destroying, or removing it. You're also gaining great visibility into the features and functions of your file, so active content. These are things like macros, JavaScripts, hyperlinks, acroforms, DDEs, the type of active content that can perform actions on end-user machines. Reach out to the internet and download information. Kick off an executable, run a shell command, run some PowerShell. Essentially doing stuff on your end-user machine that you maybe didn't expect that file to do. And this is high risk, and what you can do with CDR is first gain that visibility of it, and then the power to surgically remove or sanitize it from the file. So what you end up with is a perfect, compliant, standardized file which has been validated against the manufacturer's spec and has all of the risk in it understood and then removed based on your business use case. So I think it gives you great visibility into the risk and the tools to manage and mitigate that risk effectively. And
that use case you talk about is almost on the way in. You don't want the malware or the malicious content or malicious payloads to come through, but we also do a great job on metadata and review comments, because that's also on the way out. You want to make sure that the file also only contains the content that you want to contain.
Definitely.
Or you don't want to be the ones that is the source of exploitation for somebody else.
Totally. Yeah, no, you're completely right. It's all about gaining greater visibility into your file, and then the ability to control what is in that file, and making sure that it's a valid, compliant file at the same time. And I think the real key benefit, if that's not coming across here, is if it is malware or ransomware or something of risk, we're not identifying that, but we're essentially removing it without the need for detection or being able to identify it. So if you were using like an antivirus technology or a sandbox technology, those tools are pretty good at identifying malware that's out there. But if it's something new, targeted, unknown, or 0 day, these technologies, they need to be patched and updated and maintained. But that's not always possible, or maybe it can't be done quick enough for the new threat that's out there. So if you've got a particularly sensitive network, what you can do is use CDR, and before everybody else gains visibility of a new attack, you've disarmed it without that need to understand that this is a piece of malware or ransomware. And later on, you can work that out, but you're essentially safe, which is the great thing.
And then, so what you talk about is something that we've been involved in a bit, which is that very interesting delta, right? Between the moment that we made a file safe and the moment that the industry knows about it. So we've done some integration with University Labs and VirusTotal and others, but we really see that, right? So
definitely. And sometimes I make myself laugh with silly jokes, like, you get on the tube and it's mind the gap. It's almost like as a security professional using detection technologies, you're aware of that gap, and you've got to mind that gap because it's there and it could catch you out. But I think CDR is really closing that gap and making you a lot more safe, a lot more secure. Especially if you're ingesting a lot of files, or you're working with clients and data's coming in and it's from an untrusted location. You need to bring it into a trusted network.
But the cool thing is that we made the file safe almost on hour 0, right? And then sometimes it takes a couple of hours, a couple of days or more for the industry to catch up, right?
I mean, and we've seen an example of all of those gaps or those deltas of, as you said, hours, days, minutes. I think the biggest one we saw at one point was like 68 days. And we've got visibility of everything. So I'm sure there's attacks out there that you never even identify. So the gap is infinite. And it could live there for years. But if you were to put it through a CDR engine, you've essentially removed that problem because you're removing the ability for something to hide in that file.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk me about the engine. So we have this amazing engine, which is our SDK.
Yes. Yeah. So our team's done an absolutely brilliant job over a number of years of developing in C++ a library which can perform content disarm and reconstruction. And it's available as a software development kit for Windows and Linux as either a DLL or an SO file. And I think we call it the embedded engine now, don't we? So I'm familiar with calling it the SDK, but it's the embedded engine. And really what we're saying there is you can take that capability and you can embed it into tools, workflows, software, applications, and different functions. So we've actually taken that engine, and should we talk about the CDR platform?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we've taken that embedded engine and we've containerized it and used Kubernetes, which is a nice container orchestration platform. There we go, thanks. To essentially scale that capability of CDR so that we can build applications and work with customers to build applications at the size of enterprise. So any number of files you want to send into it, no worries, because Kubernetes is built there to scale containers to the load that you need.
And cloud-based, right? So now with that combined with some really sweet cloud deploying architectures, we now can process millions of files. We can process terabytes of files per hour, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think one of the things that delighted me from the get-go is the way the team made it as a cloud-native sort of project.
Yeah.
So we took what was really an on-prem embedded engine and we turned it into this cloud-native thing that could be deployed into Microsoft, AWS, Google Cloud, or hard bare metal machines with VMware, ESXi. And I think what's great is you've got this nice RESTful interface to interact with that CDR capability. So very quickly your developers can understand the interface, send in a file, get a response. Send in a file, get some analysis, get that protected, safe file back. Doing all those things around identifying that risk and then removing that risk. And then we're making it very simple for people to do that. And as you said, with the platform, do it at scale.
And just to be clear, right? So the brief which we delivered was create something that can work online, offline, on every cloud provider, on-prem, with VMware, bare metal. Probably, I don't know if we haven't tried a Raspberry Pi, but I'm sure you might even almost work. I think with the new one, because I don't think there's limitation ARM, but it's pretty awesome, right? But that makes a big difference because a lot of the times the customers, they don't want, they like the idea of a cloud-based solution, but when they start thinking about the files, they do want the files to be very close to their environment, even for regulatory compliance. Exactly. So we can basically go and take the CDR platform wherever they are.
Yeah, and I think, even people that are happy for the files to be in the cloud, there's particular areas or geolocations within the cloud that they're happy for their data to reside. And as you say, you take that to the nth degree and people are saying, it cannot leave my estate, it's got to be on these machines. But we've achieved that flexibility by having that cloud native approach, which is great. So we got something that really can be deployed wherever you need it to be.
Which is awesome. And then the other thing what we really want to do is make sure that the user experience is really good, right? Because what you don't want, and we have some products for this, we got the desktop and we got a cloud-based solution where you can just drop the files across, which is good if you say, I got this file, it's dangerous, I want to make it safe. But
I think desktop's cool actually.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Like the fact that we've taken that embedded engine and we built an application that you can put on your laptop and it's made the interaction with CDR nice and easy with that drag and drop, but with also the ability to process a folder, apply different policies. If you were an analyst and you had a laptop and you were looking to import data, or maybe you're doing some sort of sheet dipping with AV and then some sort of hands-on analysis to gain confidence in files. Really, this CDR desktop application is what you've been looking for, because you can make your sample inert, do some research, you can look at the output from CDR and the analysis, and what it's doing is it's giving you more data points to go on.
And then my next point was that's all cool, but we've done a great integration with ICAP and Palo Alto where we can make the file safe without the user having to care about it, which is really good, right? Because the user just browse the internet, and with those integrations, the file just happens. It's just nice, invisible, transparent security.
Yeah, you've got that glass wall between the outside, which is high risk, and then your users on the inside. You really are creating that sort of virtual air gap for your estate against the estate that you can't trust. I like it a lot.
Cool. So some of the people who are applying for our jobs here, hopefully they will also see this. So what's your message for them? Why is Glasswall such an amazing company to work for?
Why is it such an amazing company? I mean, you're gonna have fun, right? There's exciting projects to work on. I think we've got a capability that in itself is exciting as a proposition to the industry. You know, we're definitely challenging the old way of doing things, which is exciting. There's a lot of potential to grow and learn new technologies, and I think we're at a good size where you're not sort of pigeon or shoehorned into a very focused particular role. You've got the ability to interact with lots of different colleagues, with lots of different backgrounds and remits, and I think it's just I think we've got a good culture at the firm, and our clients are interesting. Can't talk too much about all of them, but cybersecurity is a great industry, as I'm sure you're probably aware of already if you're watching this. But personally, I've had a good time.
Cool.
Yeah.
And we're making the world safer.
Exactly.
Which is awesome, right?
Yeah, you're right.
We're making the world safer.
We're doing a good thing.
A good thing.
We're not just shilling stuff. We're actually trying to make a difference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Max.
No worries.
Good stuff.
Cheers, Dinis.
And thanks for watching.